Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Pits of Motor Chaos. This is your host, Dave. We go all the way to Texas for Nitro Fuel Alter driver Rick Lewelling. How you doing, Rick?
Doing good, sir. You?
I'm good. So you ready for this weekend at Nitro Madness?
We think we are. We've been working hard, done a lot of updates to our car, changed a few things on it, and we feel like we got a good shot.
Yeah, it's going to be quite an event up there with, 68 funny cars now?
60 plus. You got to give it to Chris Graves for putting this thing together. He has gone way overboard and tried to create something phenomenal, and he's hit the target right in the middle. 60 plus funny cars, 17 or 18 fuel alters, a couple of fuel alters that are going to be out there trying to set quarter mile records. It's going to be a hell of an event.
Yeah. Yeah, you got some big show guys coming out there.
What's that?
I see you got some big show guys coming out.
Yeah. There's some funny car guys traveling from several different states. My buddy John Hale's going to be driving a funny car. I understand Bill Worsham's bringing a couple of cars. Of course, Ronnie Young and the Blue Max will be out there. There's 16, 17, 18 killer fuel alters. The War Wagon, Howard Ferris's car, Kevin Kinsley driving, is going to be trying to set a quarter mile record, as well as Tim Wilkerson's bringing his car, and Richard Hartman, I believe, is going to drive it. They're going to be trying to hit that same record, so it's going to be cool.
Yes, it is. Yeah, when's the last time you've seen like over 60 funny cars at an event?
I personally have never. I've never been to one that big. We've seen 20s and maybe 30s back in the day in the 80s. Early Motorplex days when the All American Funny Car Series was around. I mean, there was 20 of them from Texas, but when all the California guys showed up, there was 30 plus. But this many, I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's amazing how Chris has taken this funny car chaos to a new level.
He's very good at what he does.
Oh yeah. Him and Tara.
Yep. You got to hand it. She keeps him in line, so
yep.
He couldn't do it without her, I promise you.
I know that. Yep. So let me rewind the clock with you, Rick, and ask you, how did you get into drag racing?
I got into drag racing. I guess it was in my blood before I was ever, stepped foot on the ground. My dad was an AHRA world record holder in '64. Worked up through the ranks, drove some fuel cars. Won a Division 4 championship before he really officially retired in top alcohol funny car. And, I was sitting in the seat and just staying out of the way when I was 2 or 3 years old, and couldn't get away from it. Not that I tried very hard, but it just grew up around it. It gets in your blood, and it's addicting. But the good thing is it's legal, and we can do that. So. Yeah.
So did you have any drag racers that were inspirational to you when you started racing?
That were what to me?
Inspirational.
Oh, so many. Just over the last few years, working with, I work on Steve Gasparelli's top alcohol funny car now, and I have for several years. I spent several years with Mark Tolliver's alcohol dragster and his 8-field dragster. Several years. Worked on a bunch of teams over the years, and they've all inspired me. Just watching them do good and watching them work so hard and seeing that, it pays off if you'll stick with it and put in the hours and the money too that goes with it, which it's a very expensive sport. We all know that, but you can be creative and make things happen, and it's something to be excited about. And I've dropped a few names. I already did. Steve Gasparelli's been an inspiration to me. Mark Tolliver was. My engine builder and good friend Tom Conway, always. Scott Palmer's a good friend of mine. I talked to him a lot. And but when I quit back in '08 and thought, I was driving Super Cop cars. I had several cars back then, and got back into it. Working on some cars in 2010, 2011. My wife was the first one to tell me. She goes, well, maybe you can get another car someday. And I thought, that's a long shot, but here we are.
So what was the first vehicle you ever drag raced in?
Actually, the first car I ever took down the drag strip was probably an early 80s S10 pickup. We were at Hallsville Dragway for an alcohol funny car meet. We had an S10 pickup tow vehicle. They had redone their staging lights or something and, painted some new stripes and rewired the place. And Kent Hall, the owner of the track, had said something about, hey, somebody needs to take a car out there and stage it. Let's make sure this is working. I think I was 14, 15 years old. I didn't even have a driver's license yet. But they said, yeah, jump in the tow vehicle. So I jumped in the tow vehicle, and funny thing was, it was sitting on a hill, and I didn't put my foot on the brake, and I put it in reverse, and the car lunged forward and touched the chain link fence. No damage, but I did get it backed up and got it on the starting line and helped them set their lights up and stuff. But after that, it was I've had about 5 Super Cup cars that we bracket raced throughout the years, probably starting in 2000 to about 2008, a lot of racing then.
So how did you do in bracket racing?
We did good. Won several races. Got really good at it. Real estate market back in '08 took a crash, and drag racing was one of the first things we had to put on hold because it was, an extra expense that had to go temporarily at least to, survive and keep things running. So, but obviously the real estate market's bounced back, and we can have some fun, and we've got a lot of marketing partners and a lot of friends and family that help us too to get us there. So it's not all me by chance, and I have to give as much credit as possible to my dad Harold. Because he is a big part of it. We're partners on the car, and he basically kind of put this thing together originally and said, hey, let's go do this. And I jumped in and said, okay, let's go.
So you took a hiatus for how many years now?
It's probably been, some 2008, 2018, a good solid 10 years, but the whole time I was working on other cars and learned a whole lot about setups and nitro and alcohol and more and more and more. I was crewing on my dad's car, of course, for many years, in my early 20s, and I just couldn't get away from it. Helped, I don't know, probably 10 or 15 teams, anywhere from one race to several years now with like Steve Gasparelli. So, that helps a lot too in part of the driving is listening and paying attention to what those guys have to say, and whether you're anticipating driving one or not, you can learn a lot from them and get some good information if you just pay attention.
All right, so now how did the name the Midnight Special come about?
The Midnight Special, the actual paint job, the red and the black and blue stripes, if you've seen them, and the lettering coordination that we've got on it was actually identical to my dad's last alcohol funny car that he had, and that he won that Division 4 with in '88. And I thought it would be cool to duplicate it. It's not a funny car, but it's a cool name. Nobody else had it. The colors were cool, and we just think it turned out awesome. It was fun to do. So kind of a tribute to him.
I remember watching the TV show, that music show, Midnight Special on TV.
Yeah.
So now, what do you enjoy most about being a drag racer, Rick?
Oh, probably spending time with the people. You get to take, all your friends and family with you, and the fans that show up are usually friends and family. Just the fellowship, it's just fun to be there. Of course, everybody wants to win, but win or lose, you can have a good time. It's not always fun to lose, but we go to have fun, and if we win, awesome. If we don't, we're still going to have a good time. It's all about the friends and family, the fans putting on the show, and just the excitement of drag racing that it brings as a package.
Yeah, when you're at that tree on the starting line, whoever's in the next lane, you're your biggest enemy. Then when you get to the end, they're your best friend again.
Exactly. And then I've done that with the bracket racing. My first round of eliminations last year in the field altered was against Jimmy Jones, tough competitor, longtime drag racer. My dad raced him in the '80s for many years in the alcohol funny cars, and it was cool. It was cool. Jimmy would, I'd have to put him on my hero list. All around nice guy. I've actually bought some racing stuff from him in the past, and he's been helpful too. He's one of those guys. If you got a question and you want to ask somebody, he's a good contact to go to, and he probably has the right answer for you. He's been doing it as long as anybody, and he's got that experience, which is priceless.
Now, is there anything that you hate about being a drag racer besides the money that's being spent?
Yeah, other than you spend all your paycheck, and you get paid on Friday, and Monday morning you get to start over. But I mean, I think a lot of people do that, and there's different ways to do it, so you don't feel so bad doing it with your friends and your buddies and your family and all that. But yeah, it's a lot of work, but the work is good for you. Hard work never hurt anybody. So.
Now, if you didn't become a drag racer, any idea what you'd be doing?
I don't know. I guess I would probably be able to spend more time in the real estate market, but we only get to race a few times a year, and we take care of business before we load the trailer. And I still answer my phone at the racetrack, so I guess I might be a little bit busier in the real estate market. But if I wasn't a drag racer, I could almost bet you I'd be a fan.
Now, Rick, if you could have the drag race fans that come and watch your race remember one thing about you, what would you want that one thing to be that the fans remember about you?
Probably the most important thing to them is that they got to come by, they got to see the car, and myself, my crew, my family, and everybody took the time to talk to them, because 90% of them out there have questions, and the questions might be anywhere from where'd you get your socks to, how many RPMs does the motor turn when the finish line lights? And they won't answer to those questions. They're curious. That's how they learn. That's how we all learn. That's how I learned as a kid, is asking questions about stuff that was totally irrelevant, but I was curious and interested, and that's what starts it. So hopefully, just that our team took the time to welcome them and answer their questions and talk to them.
So the fans should never be afraid to come to the pits and say hello, right?
Never. They're always welcome. We've always got time for them. So.
Yeah, even if you're thrashing away to get ready, you at least come and say hello.
We're lucky enough to have too many people. Somebody over there can stop for a minute and answer their questions, point them in the right direction, give them a soft drink, bottle of water, or something, hero card, anything like that to make them more comfortable and make them feel welcome.
That's awesome. Now, do you think you can get any better as a race car driver, and if so, how do you achieve that to get better?
Oh, I know I can. We need more practice. I mean, we're obviously going out at this head first, and I want to win this weekend, but we're testing still. We're learning every single run about our car and me as a driver, and yeah, I need more practice and more practice and more practice. I'm never going to quit practicing. There's always whether the car goes out and does something where you have to lift 2 foot off the starting line, or it goes through the lights and runs a great number, you're going to learn something. That's the best part about it, is the knowledge you get from the practice. So you can never get too much practice, and we're always in practice mode. But yeah, we're out to win.
So now, what's the fastest run time you had in the few altered?
The car actually ran a 4 flat on my very last license run. It was at nighttime. That was quick enough to finish the license. I drove it just a little bit past half track, so it has done that a couple of other times. Had some issues with it not having enough downforce. We've had to put a new wing on it. The steering box was a little loose. Things like that we've worked on over the winter and improved on to make it more consistent and make it do what it's supposed to do. So we feel like it. The car is probably more ready than I am. So the car is ready to go out there. I'm ready to go out there, but I need to get a few more runs in me just to feel 100%. But we're excited to get some more practice in.
Now you're running at 90% nitro, right?
Yes.
Now, when you got that, the fastest speed that you've done, what track was that at?
The fastest time we ran was the 4 flat was at Tulsa. The speed wasn't real killer. I think it was 140, maybe 145 miles an hour. Now I've gone 170 and a quarter mile in a super comp car, and and run some low 5-second runs, run some 5-second runs in an 8th mile, some 8 seconds in a quarter. So this is about a second quicker than the fastest dragster I've ever driven. But they do handle a little bit different, but they are fun and exciting, and we're really looking forward to putting some more runs on it and see what it's going to do.
So when you started out in drag racing back in bracket racing, was your family involved? Did they support you?
Yeah, I've always have. When I first started driving back in the late 90s, early 2000, I had small children, so a lot of times my dad was always involved. He and I have always been partners on just about every car we've had. So he was always there. My family's, behind me 100%. My wife, like I said, is the one that instigated this now to get me back into it several years ago. She's actually got a pre-scheduled event she has to attend out of state this weekend, so she's actually not going to be at this race. And she says, well, you'll probably win, because every time she doesn't go to the races with me and the Gasparelli team, we always win, and it's just a matter of fact that she doesn't go very much. So it's going to happen. But if that's right, I hope it's right, and she'll be at the next one if we win or lose this either way.
Wow. All right, So what was it like for you to get behind the wheel for the first time and feel altered?
First time it was intimidating. It's still a little intimidating. The motor sitting in front of you, the thing's loud. The car shakes and vibrates a little bit. My very first time in it with full knowledge of look, just hit the gas and hold on for a second. And what was funny about it is it shook a little bit, and I don't think it really shook. I think it just vibrated a lot more than I thought it might. Was a little blurry for a second, and I thought, okay. So I lifted pretty quick, but as soon as I lifted, of course, it quit shaking, and I thought, wait a minute, I wanted to go further. I pedaled the car and drove it, another 30, 40 feet, and kind of got yelled at by my engine builder, Tom Conway, but it didn't hurt anything. So, and I know better to do it next time, because when the car's tuned up and it's running like it should, you don't want to pedal it like I did that day. But it all worked out.
Now, when you take the fuel altered out there, how many crew members do you have?
We have probably, I got a list. We got anywhere from 8 to 10 people that do different things. Including my dad and Kay. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, 6 other guys plus my wife. So doing anything from working on the motor, doing the clutch, making sandwiches, getting drinks for people. I've got a photographer. Just it takes all of them if you can get enough of them to do everything that you really want to do. And promote your team at the same time.
Now, when you get out there in the staging lanes, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions at all?
I've learned over the years that when something works, it's not broken, don't fix it. So a lot of things we just do it repetitiously the same way every single time. Most people get in their car the same side every time, get in their car the same way, but we just try to be consistent. Every little detail on the car, if it's working, there's no reason to change it. Just leave it alone and concentrate on something that needs attention or needs adjusting, and just go with it and let the thing do what it's supposed to do.
Now, do you have any sponsorship at all?
We do. I have a list of people that I need to mention. I can do it now or do it at the end of the podcast, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we could wait. You can mention them at the end.
Okay, I'll save that list, and I'll save my list of my family and crew that go in there at the back too. So.
All right. So now, there's a lot of preparation going to getting that fuel altar ready for a weekend.
Is there a lot of preparation?
Yeah.
Yeah, there can be. The good thing that's probably the best part of the Outlaw Fuel Ultra Association is we only have about 5 to 6 races a year. This year, Chris has kind of taken the schedule, I think, and probably maximized it by spreading the races out. They're no more than about a month apart. We have like a I would call it a spring session, March, April, May type deal. June, July, and August, we don't have a race other than they're going to have a fuel altered versus a pro mod race at Extreme in Ferris, Texas. We're going to attend that probably too, and then it fires back up when it cools off again, September, October. So we've got a lot of time to do it, but yeah, the hours are there. With that type of schedule allows us to live our daily lives and do our jobs and run our businesses, and in between times and weekends and evenings when we've got time, we get everything ready and put everything back together and service the car. But yeah, there's a lot of hours in it, a lot of hours.
Now, what are some of your favorite tracks to race on, Rick?
I would say probably this weekend we're going to be at my favorite track. I've attended every single national event at that race since it opened, almost 30 years ago. My dad's raced there. We only run 8th mile, but it is a quarter-mile track, and it's got a massive, long shutdown area. It's a wide track. It's a good track. The Motorplex is just fun. It's a good place to be. It's a nice facility still. I would say that's probably my first choice. Tulsa's a good track too. We licensed up there because it was convenient at the time last year, and it's a good track too. It's a quarter mile, so running an 8th mile car down it and being able to stop and do what you need to do, it's also nice.
So, do you have any tracks on a bucket list that you've never been to that you would love to hit one day?
There's not very many with working on Mark Tolliver's car and Steve Gasparelli's car. I've been to almost all of them. There's maybe some in the far northeast area that maybe I haven't been to, but I've been to just about every one of them on the national event circuit, other than places like Epping, New Hampshire, and places like that. I don't even know if it's on the national circuit anymore, but some of those places. But I've been to Chicago, I've been to Seattle, we've been to every track in California, Gainesville. We've hit just about every border we could. So haven't made it up to Canada to the little division regional track up there, but we've threatened to go a couple of times. It's got a chaos getting in and out of there. I'm sure it's really bad right now with all the COVID stuff going on, but that would probably be cool because I've not been to Canada to race or for any other reason.
So what's your preference, quarter mile or 8th mile?
I like either one. I mean, my dragsters, I race, super comp racing. We did quarter mile. We did a lot of bracket racing 8th mile. I like the 8th mile racing for these cars. It's the biggest benefit is it's a lot less stress and wear and tear on parts. If we hit it right, we should be able to, keep this car in one piece and not break anything and make several runs on it before you have to replace some of those parts that just wear out from consistent fatigue. I think it's just more of a budget racing by doing the 8th mile, and it just works better for us.
So now, besides the Nitro Madness Funny Car Chaos event this weekend, how many events do you have for the year?
Like I said, the fuel altered circuit has, I believe, 6 races plus the Pro Mod versus Fuel Altered race in the midsummer. We're going to miss the second race because I do have commitments with Steve Gasparelli's car, and I believe we're going to try to hit the national event in Las Vegas next month. But our schedule looks pretty good. Looks like whether Steve goes to 10 or 15 races, most of them are going to fall in between the Fuel Altered circuit races. So we hope to hit most of them.
Now, where do you get all your fire safety equipment from, Rick?
To be honest with you, from several places. I've gotten stuff from DJ Safety. I've gotten stuff from Simpson, and my buddy Dennis at Dennis Taylor at Taylor Motorsports has also helped us out too as well. So I would be wrong not to mention all 3 of them.
All right, now. What kind of milestones have you reached in your drag racing career so far?
Well, I guess we didn't last long enough to do anything big, but when we bracket raced, we won some races. When we super comp race, we got down to some very small fields of 3 and 4 cars a couple times. Got down to some semifinals and some bracket finals in Ennis several years ago. That was a lot of fun, and had some breakage and didn't get to finish that race. But as far as a driver, I guess you could say we're kind of starting over. We haven't got to the point where we've been in it, but we're new again. So we've got a lot of road to travel and places to go. So it could get real exciting.
All right, now, outside of drag racing, do you have any other hobbies, Rick?
I don't have a whole lot of time for it. I do have a room in my house that has a set of drums in it. I don't consider myself a drummer, but I do like to play them. I do like to hit them. It's fun. I can make it sound like I know what I'm doing, but you get a good drummer like my buddy Joey that works on the car, Joey Luttrell, one of our partners with Weaver Wisdom Collision Center, and he picks up a set of sticks, and I might as well be a 3-year-old that that's never seen a set. So.
Now, have you won a lot of trophies or plaques or any good stuff like that throughout your racing career?
Bracket racing, they don't give a whole lot of that stuff away. Bracket racing, you can actually make money and actually pay for it. We're back new to this. There are some trophies and some things to win here. I know this weekend they've got some belt buckles on the line. There's trophies. There's money. There's some special awards for certain other accomplishments this weekend. So maybe we'll get in the middle of that somehow.
Now, in the altered class that you run in, do you have a greatest competitor in that group?
Greatest competitor? Well, I mean, as far as most competitive?
Yeah. Are any of the drivers more competitive than the others to you?
Yeah, some of them. They're all good. That's the thing. It's being run on a 380 index. I mean, just about every car out there is capable of running the number. They've had over the last 25 years that the circuit's been alive. I don't know how many different champions they've had, but they've had several. I know that Bobby Marriott's won some. I think Jimmy Jones has won some. Donnie Massey's won some. Last year's champ, Jody Austin. I mean, everybody out there, I think, that's been doing it a whole lot longer than we have has at least won multiple races, and maybe every one of those names I dropped has also won a championship at least once. So it's pretty competitive all the way through the field.
Well, hopefully your championship's coming soon.
Well, someday that would be fun. We, like I said, we need lots of practice, but this is how you get it. You load up and you go out there and you line up with them and let them teach you enough lessons to where maybe one day you can teach them one.
Now, if you were able to, find a time travel machine and go backwards in time, would you do anything differently with your racing career?
Possibly. I might have tried some hand at some faster cars a little earlier. I've enjoyed probably spending more time working on a lot of these cars, and I've learned so much. I definitely would not take that away all the time I've spent with all the different teams. It's been a learning experience. I wouldn't give that up probably to drive, because I still think I'm capable. I'm young enough. I can get a few more years in and have a good time, and maybe we can, accomplish something before we give up again.
Now, if you and wife have time to go on a vacation getaway at all, what's your favorite vacation getaway?
We actually got to 2 or 3 years ago. She drugged me to Cancun, and and we had such a great time. I think when it comes available, maybe this time next year, we're probably going to go back. It was a blast. We enjoyed ourselves. We didn't do nothing but vacation and have a good time. So I'd probably jump on a plane to do that just as soon as I could, knowing that what to expect.
Yeah, hopefully all this COVID goes away and then you could take a nice vacation without worrying about anything.
You bet. That would be exciting.
All right, so I got a few more fun questions here for you. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite food to eat?
Oh boy, I cook a pretty mean steak. My wife does not eat sushi, but I do like sushi. I don't mind eating the raw fish and stuff like that. So maybe a good steak or some sushi or even both.
So you're a steak and sushi guy, huh?
Yeah.
Now, your wife cooks?
She does. She likes it more when I do, but she's very capable. Usually, when she makes something that I don't know how or don't want to. So it keeps it interesting that way. So I cook the regular stuff, and she cooks the odd stuff that always turns out great. So
do you have a favorite dish that your wife cooks?
Probably she cooks a pretty mean goulash. That's probably something I would have to say that would be right at the top of the list.
Okay, now, what is your favorite beverage?
Favorite beverage? You want to talk over 21 or under 21?
You can answer both.
I am a bottled water fan. I drink lots of it. I like Mountain Dew. I don't drink them very often because there's lots of sugar and bad stuff in them that it's not good for you, but they taste great.
Yeah.
But when I'm ready for a cocktail, I'm usually a Blue Moon guy with an orange. So that's me.
All right. So now, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time? I don't see a lot of movies, and I've probably forgotten most of them because I remember the two or three that stood out. But one of the coolest ones I ever saw many years ago was Training Day. It was action packed and guns and fighting and cops and chaos, and I just thought it was cool, and I still to this day own the DVD and watch it every once in a while.
All right. So what's your favorite type of music to listen to?
Favorite type of music? I'm an 80s rock guy. I still have the original Kiss Alive 1 and 2 albums, things like that. We got to meet them about 4 years ago at the WinStar Casino. They had a concert. I had some connections with the management group and got in contact with them. We had some pretty good seats, about the 12th or 15th row back, and got to go back and meet them and take a picture with them. And that would probably be one. If I had to pinpoint a certain band, yes, but yeah, 80s rock and roll. I'm still stuck on it.
Yeah, Kiss was like my first band because my brother is like 9 years older than me. Yeah, I'm 50. Yeah. I'll be 53 this year. But my brother, he got me into Kiss when I was a little kid, so that was like my first band.
Yeah, when we were back in the late 70s, early 80s when they were hot, I had the posters on my wall and had all the albums, and usually that was the 8-track that was stuck in the stereo. So you got it.
Yeah, I had all the posters all over the wall. I splattered all the Kiss magazines when it came in the store.
Uh-huh.
Yep. I joined the Kiss Army fan club. Yep.
Been a member of the Army several times on and off, so yeah.
So how many Kiss concerts have you been to?
Actually, just one. For many, many years, I wanted to go, and probably at a younger age, either just didn't have time or couldn't afford it. So when it came up that they were doing this, I think they're still doing a farewell tour, but this was going to be like one of the last ones a few years ago. I said, hey, we need to get some tickets and don't care what they cost and get the best ones we can because this might be the only one, and it was well worth it.
Do you play any musical instruments?
Just the drums, and like I said, I don't consider myself a drummer, but I can hit them and I can make it sound like I know what I'm doing here and there. But somebody that considers themselves a drummer, I don't have a chance.
No.
But I have fun with it.
So how many years have you owned drums though?
I bought my first set probably 6 or 8 years ago, and decided that I played a little bit in high school in the band and stuff like that. And 6 or 8 years ago, I decided I wanted to get a set and try to do something with it, and felt like I was just barely past the beginner stage. So I sold those and bought a better set. I bought a set of Pearl drums, which is the same brand that Peter Criss of Kiss always had, and I thought, hey, that'd be cool to have some Peter Criss drums. So I got a nice set of Pearl drums, and I still can't play them any better, but they look better than the other ones.
So you never took any lessons?
Never took any lessons. Just I like to put my earpods in and turn on my iPod, and I try to play along with whatever song that feels good that day.
So do you ever have time to do it drumming anymore?
Very little. I try to go in there a couple of times a week and play a couple of songs. It's been a few months now probably, but winterizing the race car and getting it all back together and preparing for this big race, and he did a lot of updates and upgrades to the car. So I have not touched them lately, but they're there. And maybe next week when the storm blows out, we'll go in there and hit them some more.
All right, so what's your biggest pet peeve, Rick?
Biggest pet peeve? I don't know. Probably, I don't know, just something that's annoying, when you're I guess when you're trying to watch TV or trying to talk to somebody and somebody interrupts or something interrupts, I guess just maybe trying to multitask, or someone trying to get you to multitask when you don't want to.
So you carry that pet peeve onto the racetrack too?
Not so bad. I mean, racetracks are chaos. That's all they are. They're chaos from the time you get there to the time you leave. So you can't be like that. I mean, you're always going to have to stop and do something else, or finish what you're doing in a hurry so you can do something else. But it's part of it, and we enjoy that part. So it's not so much that I would take it out there. You just can't.
So what would you consider to be your fondest memory in drag racing?
Fondest memories, probably winning races with my dad, winning races with Mark Tolliver, winning races with Steve Gasparelli, and then also winning several bracket races of my own with my car. So racing is fun. We have a good time when we don't win, but when you win, that's the best you can do. So it's it's top of the list.
So have you had a most embarrassing moment out on the track?
Most embarrassing moment on the track? Not yet, and I don't hope to, but I would probably say maybe when I blew up a transmission or something in my bracket car, several years ago, and I didn't really know what it was, but, the car quit. I shut it off, but I wasn't smart enough to pull over to one side. I just stayed in the middle of the lane and pretty much covered the whole, 8th mile in transmission fluid. That was kind of embarrassing. So.
Now, if someone might be listening to this interview live right now and they're, thinking about maybe trying to do drag racing, what kind of advice would you give that person?
Start out small. Go with your friend. Find somebody that that's got a car, or that helps somebody in a car, and go hang around. There's so much more to drag racing, learning about the cars and the process and the racing and everything that goes with it. I think the driving part probably has the least amount of I guess things you have to do. It's not the easiest job, but you work on the car, you have to load it, you have to unload it, you have to set up the awning, you have to do things to the trailer, you have to maintain everything. There's so many hours into it, and then the driver only has to sit in there 3, 4, 5 seconds, depending on what kind of car you're running. So there's more to it, and that's where most of the fun is doing all the work and learning how the things tick.
All right, now Rick, you want to do all your shout outs?
Yeah. Yep. First of all, let me run down my list of these people that I call them my marketing partners. They've done unheard of things for us, whether they provide us with products or have helped us purchase things or whatever. But PDC International, which is a company that Steve Gasparelli owns in California, Weaver Wisdom Collision Center, my buddy and my car chief, Joey Luttrell, they're in Denton, Texas. Clean Boost Racing Oil, got several friends there, best racing oil on the planet. A new group we just picked up, J&B 5 Point Construction out of Crum, Texas. Clean and Green Car Wash, they have several locations in our area. Chandler Cabinets, formerly also known as Buster Chandler, who used to race alcohol money cars. His sons now own that business, and they do a lot for us. Randy and Paula King at King Brothers Boat and RV Storage. Dawn at JD Sign and Design. Randall at MCO Construction. My good friend and one of my mentors, heroes, Tom Conway at Conway Automotive. Another company we picked up just recently, Coots Jerky, cootsjerky.com. And then, of course, my family and my friends, my dad, of course, and his wife, Kay. I mentioned Joey Luttrell, our car chief. Joe Munden brings 40-plus years of drag racing experience to our team to keep us in line. My nephew, Robert Smallwood, my buddy, Preston Klein, Scott Robinson, Josh Davis, and my wife, Tracy.
Awesome. Well, Rick, I want to thank you very much for doing this interview tonight.
Couldn't do it without any of those people or those companies. So this project started a little over 2 years ago, and it took almost 2 years to complete it. And we started on a budget, and we're still on a budget. But these people and these companies made this happen to allow us to be where we're at now, and I think we're in pretty good shape.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with the 2021 racing season.
We appreciate it. It's good to talk to you, and hopefully we'll see you at the track soon.
And good luck this weekend at the Nitro Madness.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We're going to give it our best shot.
No problem. Well, you have a great night, Rick, and thanks again for doing the interview.
You too. Thank you, sir.
All right. Bye-bye.